We need to normalize quitting books that we hate. I feel that we are living in a booktok era where the more you read, the better you are, but I don't think that's necessarily true. It's not necessarily wrong or a lie as well, but last month I caught myself reading books that I hated. Like, these were books that were recommended because everyone seems to love them. And I was like pushing myself to read those books because those were nonfiction books and the themes were very interesting for me. They are themes that I've been reading about for a lot of time already, and so I was like eager to read those books because the author, it's the same author, and I won't mention here because I will do a separate video about my review of these books and the author, but it was a well-renowned author and one of the main names within the subject that I was reading. And so I was very eager to read those books, and I picked the first one, and instantly I had like, something is not very right here. But I thought like, okay, don't judge the book by the first chapter or the introduction or whatever, you know? So I kept reading, and I kept reading, and I kept reading, because I was feeling like, I cannot not like this book because everyone speaks so well about it, you know? Like, how the hell am I supposed not to like this book? That's one thing. You feel guilty when you don't like something that everyone seems to like, which was a realization that I just had after reading that book, that I was feeling guilty, like maybe it's something wrong with me for not liking this book. And so I kept reading that book, and every time it was a painful read. It wasn't pleasurable, it wasn't entertaining, it was just a pain in the ass. And I kept wishing it to be over, like I would read for hours just because I was so eager to get it over with. And so I finished that book. And then I had another book from the same author. And I was like, I kind of wonder if it will be kind of the same. The subjects are slightly different, so maybe there is a good thing in here. And so I give it a try, and I read half of the book. Those were like 6 chapters. And then I couldn't do it anymore because I was realizing that once again I was forcing myself to read something that I'm not enjoying. It's not adding any new knowledge, any new vocabulary, any new, thought, or, it wasn't adding anything to my life except frustration because I wanted it to be over. And I was like struggling because I never gave up on a book, and I've read books that I don't like, and it didn't make sense to me to lose another week of my life reading a book that wasn't adding anything to my life, that it was painful, and I was reading it out of obligation because I'm a perfectionist, right? So whenever I start something, I have this force inside me saying to me like, Patricia, you should finish it. And in the end, I was expecting it to become better, like I was expecting the previous one to become better. And I was like hopeful that, okay, by the end of the book, maybe it would be worth it. Maybe I would learn something new. And this is the thing about books, right? Unless you read everything, you don't know for sure what you've been missing, right? And so with the first one, I forced myself to read it through because I had that hope that something would be valuable. And the second one, I was forcing myself to do the same. But then I realized like, okay, I did that one with the last book. And it didn't change anything for me. I just felt frustrated because I lost like 2 weeks reading a book that I hated from start to finish. So chances are, because it's the same author, that I will feel the same, exactly the same with this book. And I was struggling because I was like, okay, but I like to write reviews, right? So I was in Goodreads and I was like, I really wanted to leave a review, but can I? Like, am I entitled to write a review on a book that I only read half of it? I did the review anyway, but this made me think that if we are reading and it's not for school, it's not for a paper that we are writing, or, it shouldn't feel like an obligation. I think life is full of obligations and we don't need another one. Like, reading should be pleasurable, right? We spent so many years in school reading stuff that probably we hated because we were obligated to. But now we are grown-ups and we can choose what to read. And it makes no sense that we are forcing ourselves to spend sometimes weeks on books that we only wish them to be over as soon as we pick them up. So it's not pleasurable in any way. And so I stopped reading. But I had this internal dialogue telling me that I should feel guilty for not reading a book that everyone seems to love and to hate that book even more, And so there's this pressure I feel in the book world that in order to be worthy of the book community, you should read a book through start to finish, even if you don't like it. It's like a shameful thing to do, to quit a book. And I don't think so. I think I'm very grateful that I was able to overcome my perfectionism and my guilt and the pressure that I was feeling that no one was exerting over me, but that I kind of felt because it's kind of in the air. That gave me time to actually pick a book that I'm now enjoying and it's adding something to my life, to my knowledge, to my person. And so I think we need to normalize quitting books, and we are allowed to have opinions on books that we only have read halfway through or not even halfway through, because like it or not, we don't like the book. So that's already an opinion in itself. And we should be able to feel good and okay expressing our opinions about things that we might not consume until the end. This is valid for books or essays or videos or films, because we can have opinions on short amounts of content. We don't need to read the entire book to have an opinion on the parts that we have read. And those opinions of the parts that we have read are still valid because we have read them. We have invested the time and the energy and the mental capacity into those snippets of knowledge, right? And so, yeah, I think we need to normalize quitting books and not feeling sorry or pressured or guilt about it, and feeling okay in sharing our 2 cents about what we have consumed, even if we haven't read the entire thing.